Good morning, everybody. My name's Chris Evans. I'm the EMEA Sales Director for Encapto. I want to welcome you to the MSP model webinar, where we can talk about how you can increase your revenues by the MSP model with both Ruckus and Encapto. With me this morning, I've got Luke Wilbraham, who is from Purdicom, who'll be presenting the virtual SmartZone high scale as an MSP product. And I've also got Alan Walker, who's SE Manager for Encapto, who will also be demoing Encapto as well, and particularly with the features that lend itself to an MSP model. So just to get started, I just wanted to, I suppose, maybe talk a little bit about the MSP market, particularly for Wi-Fi. So, why would you consider, if you're a systems integrator or reseller, becoming an MSP or a managed service provider? So certainly, if you look at the Wi-Fi market at the moment, if you look at the growth in terms of revenue for access points and controllers and the like, it's probably pretty flat. It's a very mature market, a little bit commoditized, you might say. And it's only really going up, a couple of % per year when you actually talk at numbers and revenues in the enterprise market. However, by far the biggest growth area within Wi-Fi is certainly the managed Wi-Fi market. Now, you might call it cloud services or Wi-Fi as a service. That managed Wi-Fi MSP part of the Wi-Fi market is the thing that's growing, and by all accounts it seems to be, roughly all the analysts seem to think it's around about 35% year on year at the moment, so massive growth rates. And I guess end users are wanting this as a service now. They want infrastructure as a service. They're very used to cloud services now. They've realised the benefits of turning these sort of services into an OPEX type service. So absolutely, I think the market is looking for this service, and therefore you should be looking to maybe provide this service to your customers. What does it mean to you as a company? Well, I mean, some of the goodness that you get out of it is, you get a reoccurring revenue, right? A predictable revenue. So instead of sort of almost living month to month looking for CapEx type projects, this gives you the ability to predict your revenue over a term or a number of years or whatever. And when you build up your customer base, obviously then it becomes a very predictable revenue. It allows you as well as a company to provide a differentiated service, right? So some of the tools you'll see today is how you can customize this Wi-Fi service and brand it as yourself, or bring in features which will make it unique to you as a company and as a service. And what you can also do, I suppose, is as you're sort of delivering almost like a cookie cut approach for managed services, you can standardise on the service level and operations. So there's lots of good reasons why you might want to consider becoming an MSP if you're not already, in particular relation to Wi-Fi. It also goes to say that companies generally that have a lot of their customers under a sort of OPEX model or contract model generally are seen as a little bit more valuable. So the actual value of the companies is higher. That's just generally accepted in terms of valuations of companies. So why Ruckus and Encapto? Well, with Ruckus's virtual SmartZone high scale and Encapto, you've pretty much got an MSP product out of the box. You're able to provide a multi-tenanted solution, a white labeled solution, both from a wireless controller point of view, as well as also an onboarding and user engagement tool. You can also, and this is really helpful for MSPs, with both products, with a couple of different tools, you can actually provide or actually cover the cost, if you like, of the service, both from an Encapto point of view and Ruckus point of view, with a monthly OPEX arrangement. So in Ruckus's world, there's BNS, which is a subscription-based ability to pay for your product, as well as Encapto, which now through Purdicom, they can provide monthly billing, generally by direct debit. So therefore, what you can do is really start off with a low cost of sale, low cost of setup, and literally just model your costs against what you're charging your customer, and you should be pretty much in profit from day one. So two very, very useful tools from a finance perspective to get up and started with an OPEX type model with your customers. So just a couple of recap slides on Encapto before I hand it over to Luke to cover the virtual SmartZone piece. But very quickly, just as a reminder, or in case you may not have seen an Encapto presentation before, Encapto is a one-stop user engagement, management and reporting system to help you make the most of your Wi-Fi network. It does everything from onboard your customers, the end users on the system, using various different authentication methods. You can advertise to them, you can get data analytics out of them, and of course Alan's going to be showing you a more in-depth demo of that a little bit later, but just so you understand what Encapto is and what it does. Just a quick one on the key markets. So, in general, this is not all of them and this is not exclusive, but our key markets tend to be, of course, the managed service partners and carriers or service providers or telcos. And obviously, we're covering the MSP part of it today. Retail chains, hospitality, so hotels, bars, restaurants, and public venues, everything from conference centres to stadiums. Just boiling down on some of the key features of Encapto, particularly for MSPs. One of the key things, which I think is a bit of a surprise to people, is the wireless LAN orchestration part of Encapto. So you can do automatic provisioning of access points on site. Pretty much anything you want to do from a provisioning perspective can be done centrally via Encapto, as opposed to sort of having to go into the wireless LAN controller and then also into the Encapto platform or a back-end platform to do what you need to do and get your site set up. So there's API integration between Ruckus Hiscale, the virtual SmartZone, and also Encapto, so that we can use some layer 2, layer 3 functions automatically via Encapto, set up VLANs, SSIDs, and various other features and functions as well. We are Wi-Fi equipment vendor agnostic, so on the same platform, for the same customer even, you can manage lots of different vendors' kit from Encapto. Again, one of the great benefits of Encapto, if you are an MSP and you've got a whole kit bag full of different vendors in different customers, Encapto gives you a nice central place to be able to manage and provision those different Wi-Fi hardware manufacturers. Multi-tenancy, of course, multi-tiered access, so you can provide your customers the ability to have, depending on their role, different access to the Encapto platform. So if you had a customer, let's say for the sake of argument, was a bar chain, and they had a marketing department that wanted to get on and design all their adverts or captive portals, you just give them the ability to log in and have access to that particular part of Encapto, and again, it'd be all branded as that customer. You don't give them the ability to come in and muck around the IT provisioning part of things, or maybe other parts of Encapto, which they wouldn't be designated to do. They're just allowed to come in and be able to work the marketing function of Encapto for their own particular network. So this whole multi-tier designated access, depending on job function, is something that really resonates with the customers and they really enjoy. Again, completely white labeled, so you can white label down to your customer. The customer might have different networks themselves. They might have different brands within their, for example, within their company setup. So again, they can white label down to those brands as well. Just getting on the high scale of things, we've integrated with a lot of big carrier networks around the world. We're going to just show you a quick case study in a moment of probably our biggest customer, which is a very good carrier MSP type of case study for us. And the other interesting thing about Encapto is that we have a scalable licensing model that's pooled. So unlike a lot of other systems in this space, we don't license based on access point. We actually license based on concurrent usage. So it's really about the peak concurrent usage on your network as an MSP amongst all your customers, and that can be pooled. So, if you have, let's say for the sake of argument, you have a bunch of restaurants which are generally busier during the day, and you have a bunch of pubs that are busier during the evening, then it doesn't mean, in effect, that you're having to buy licenses for both those customers. It may be that those licenses are pooled amongst the morning session and the evening session. So it's all about how many people are on your network at your peak time, not individual customers or individual access point licensing. So, quick case study before I hand it over to Luke. Reliance Jio is a carrier in India, very recently set up, very disruptive carrier that's come onto the market over there. And they are basically built a multi-tenancy network with Encapto with huge scale, right? So they've got 9 million concurrent users currently using the network, and that's growing all the time. Now, they use the service, or they're using Encapto to onboard their own mobile subscribers. In India, Wi-Fi is a very important part of a mobile subscription. They actually sort of pretty much encourage their users to go down and find a Wi-Fi network for them to go and make Wi-Fi calling calls because the coverage for 3G and 4G is patchy at best. So it's sort of almost like a Wi-Fi first type of strategy for their subscribers. But they also manage a number of customers using Encapto, again via the white labelled multi-tiered access model. These include, household names like the Hotel Oberoi, McDonald's, Starbucks, and various other retailers as well. So, with Encapto, they're able to build things like captive portals and do all their advertising and the like, and actually get through the brand place of those particular companies, whilst at the same time it's helping them manage their own subscribers. So a very good example at scale of what Encapto can do in terms of providing a managed Wi-Fi service for a number of different users. So just before I hand over to Luke, I just wanted to remind you guys, if you've not already joined up to our partner program, please feel free to contact me. My email there is at the bottom, very simple one, chris@encapto.com. If you would like to, demo Encapto, and we can take you into the partner program, which provides training, and there's lots of user guides and integration guides, and we can have a deeper conversation about how we can, help you build your own managed Wi-Fi solution. If you get in touch with me, I'll send you over a partner agreement. Once that's signed, we can get going, and you'll be part of the partner program, and we can basically have that discussion about how we can set you up as a managed Wi-Fi player with Encapto. Okay, no further ado, I'm just going to hand over to Luke, who's going to introduce the virtual SmartZone high scale.
Good morning and welcome to Purdicom's WebEx in conjunction with Encapto, offering Encapto and VSZ as a multi-tenanted solution. My name is Luke Wilbraham. I work here at Purdicom as their Ruckus senior engineer, and I'm going to discuss the reasons why virtual SmartZone high scale suits as a multi-tenanted solution for use with conjunction to Encapto. So the virtual SmartZone product was born out of the carrier space for Ruckus and is now more widely available at an enterprise level in several flavours: the SmartZone 100 as the physical piece of tin, the SmartZone Essentials, which is the virtual offering with the same scalability as the SmartZone 100, and more interestingly, the one we're going to be discussing today, which is the virtual SmartZone High Scale, which, as you can see from the numbers here, scales more significantly to offer a multi-tenant solution. When using these virtual SmartZone High Scale, you may have the addition of a virtual SmartZone data plane if you wish to tunnel data, although that won't be covered off in this particular WebEx. With regards to access point compatibility, the virtual SmartZone High Scale offers compatibility for both indoor and outdoor access points across Ruckus's current range and their ranges on the roadmap for the rest of this year. There's also support for some legacy APs, although you would need to check the version number of your virtual SmartZone. This makes it ideally placed to inherit existing estates and used to develop new access points estates across the business. Key to the scalability of the solution is the transferable licenses. Ruckus's move to licenses that are owned by the owner of the solution rather than belonging to the controller itself means that access point licenses can be shared amongst your customer base. This means that when you lose a customer, the license doesn't go with them and can be reused on a second customer or a newly acquired customer. It also means the owner of the solution has full visibility over their current license state and can be increased perpetually on a per access point basis, with just a right to use license and a support license for the overall solution itself. The product itself sits on top of your existing virtualization platforms. It's compatible with VMware, KVM, Hyper-V, Microsoft Azure, and recently Amazon Web Services. So it can be used in the cloud as well, with very minimal investment on the partner's part. Ruckus will then support everything above the hypervisor, so this is the SmartZone Essentials or the SmartZone High Scale, depending which solution you've selected. Again, key to the multi-tenanted nature of this solution is the separation of the control plane from the management plane. This enhances security across the system and means that end users can be separated completely from the overall solution, giving them access to the network without any control of the network. With regards to the scalability, we can see from the following slide up to 10,000 access points per node on the virtual SmartZone High Scale, 65,000 potential WLANs and up to 100,000 clients. Now this is per node, and again critical to the virtual SmartZone High Scale and its multi-tenant environment comes reliability. And in order to gain that reliability, there is a full clustering solution whereby you can see the numbers increase to 30,000 APs in a 4-node cluster and 300,000 concurrent clients in a 4-node cluster. Now this doesn't scale exactly because once we move to 4 nodes, we demonstrate an N+1 level of redundancy, meaning at any point a single node can fail on the system and the system can continue to operate as far as the end user is concerned. Again, key to a multifunction scenario is the dashboard view, giving our NOC teams an overall view of what is happening currently on our network. This is live data, and through the use of pie charts and customizable widgets can indicate when there is a problem on our network so we can take a proactive response in order to phone customers and solve the problem before the customer potentially realizes there is a problem. Now the change and the main change with SmartZone High Scale over SmartZone Essentials is this multi-domain layout, and this is where we get our multi-tenancy from. This multi-domain layout gives us an overall management domain. This would be owned by the partner themselves. This domain has full visibility to all other domains and the ability to give delegated access. So even in-house from a support level, you can offer a range of different levels of access for different scale engineers and troubleshooting. Below this management domain, we can then create our own custom domains. Now at this level, we often generate our customers or we group customers. Again, if we give access to this level of the domain, then anybody logging in at this level can see everything below but nothing above. This allows you to give one customer access to the solution without them logging in and having visibility of other supported customers despite them being on the same platform. Within this domain, we can create one further level of subdomains. Now this subdomain would allow a company to have multiple domains under their control. And again, with delegated admin access, we can give them the ability to see and problem solve within their own subdomain without visibility of other customers. This is particularly critical in a multi-tenant solution whereby you may have some solutions where the end customer has their own in-house IT team that wants some level of control over the solution. Finally, within each domain in the multi-tenant solution, we have zones. Zones contain our APs and they contain our AP firmware. This means we can make changes to the system without affecting all of our customers at once. Again, this is a move from the old traditional controller model whereby a single change to the network would affect all the network regardless. This way we can trial new firmware, we can make individual settings, and we can even have our own individual Encapto settings associated with each zone, allowing each customer to have their own portal and managed solely by you at one location. With regards to giving this designated user access, you can see from the current slide the granularity with which Ruckus offer access and control over these user profiles. With a simple tick in the box to view, create or modify, we can control what level administrators have access to the system. Key to this is the removal of these elements from the GUI if we take a tick out of the box. This avoids questions around why don't I have access to this, because they can see a greyed out box that they're unable to click. This cascades and is similar across Encapto, whereby again, when a user is removed the right to a level of access, we completely remove that element from the user interface, avoiding those questions. I'll now hand over to my colleague from Encapto, who will take you through the Encapto setup and the Encapto layout.
Good morning everyone, my name is Alan Walker, I am the SE Manager for Encapto. I'm going to spend some time to show you our Encapto system so that you will see how easy it is to create Wi-Fi engagement and to deploy across the Ruckus hardware and other hardware if you need to. So we're going to start off as we log into the system. It's a cloud system, so you're able to log in from anywhere, and as you can see you'll have the dashboard. So with the dashboard you get the widgets into the system, so the views of what's happening on your estate. As an MSP you're able to see all your devices. So over on the right here we have a My Devices tab. Now this is a device section for access points, but you can call it locations. It could be a wireless LAN controller that has many access points behind it. It could be a gateway product that sits on site that can have different vendors. Ubiquity, Netgear, D-Link, vendor agnostic, as Chris had mentioned earlier. So we're able to put a gateway devices on site, or we can integrate directly with the Ruckus VSZ. With the Ruckus VSZ integration, we can then work on the same principle with the zones so that you're able to push out access to clients or partners that you have to give you the true MSP model, so that you can now designate control to those areas or the access points on site to the local administration team without fear of them getting involved in configuration of the VSZ. So we'll cover off that as we go through. So what you will have on the dashboard, you'll have a summary of everything that's going on. This is just a demo account, so we haven't got many users on here. But you can see here we've got the users, the sessions, demographics, all the information that you'd like to see at the touch of your fingers. What type of devices are actually connecting. So on the left we have the navigation pane. Now the navigation pane, as you can see, is split up into various tabs. With these you're able to configure the system and provision devices. So four easy steps really to get this working. Your authentication methods. You need to decide how you want your users to get online. So we're going to cover off those in a moment. Once you've decided how you want to get them online, you then need to create the portal, the actual splash page of what the user will see when they're on the Wi-Fi. So once they've connected, what will they see? What will they be presented with? And in that, you can also then do what's called a campaign, which is where you're able to advertise to the client. Now, this is the Wi-Fi client logging on. So you could use this for selling advertising space to other companies around the area or the venue where you're deploying your Wi-Fi network, or just adverts you want to push to the client. So maybe you want to provide coupons and you can push them. The client will then see that, and I'll show you the user journey at the end. But the client will be able to see that. They can get their coupon, maybe take it to the till if it's in a retail environment, and show that to the owner or the cashier, and be able to then get that discount there and then. So you're able to push the adverts. On the adverts you can also then collect information, so you can do data collection, and we do this with surveys. So the campaign is built up of adverts, which is under the media, and surveys. Now with a survey you're able to ask the end user information. So once you're asking information, you can make each question optional, or you can make the entire survey optional, or ask once, and again we'll cover that when we look at the campaigns. So you've got various options: push to the client, collect from the client. So that's the campaigns, and of course you have your terms of use, which you can then specify what they need to do, how they need to behave, and so forth, and they have to agree to those. You can make them scroll all the way through, or you can just put the tick box in to say they agree. Now, one thing that is mentioned many times is opt-in. Now, I'm sure you've all come across this, but you have to push that out there to say that, will you allow us to market to you? Will you opt in? Now, you do this within the survey. So you can basically put a basic question, call it opt-in, and I'll show you an example. I've just created one to say opt-in. It's a tick box. so that when client X wants to say, I didn't give you permission, you can just produce the reports and say, well, you did actually say you wanted to opt in at that point. If you would like to unsubscribe, no problem, we'll just remove you from our list. And then everything is above board. So here you see profiles. Profiles is only used for gateway devices. So these devices, the MikroTik, this is an on-site device which can then allow you to use any Wi-Fi vendor. As we're not going to be looking at that, so you can ignore the profiles width, the profile tab, we're going to be looking at the Ruckus VSZ integration. The account tab is your account, what you can see on screen now. This is you as an MSP. So let's dive in and see where we go. So first off, as I mentioned, the dashboard. We're going to look at the account tab now. The account tab is where you, as the MSP, are able to configure your account. So this is the information about you. You're able to configure this information or it'll be done for you. You'll then get your license info. My demo account is in, it's up to date, which is nice, so you'll see the information about your license. Now, Chris was mentioning regarding licensing here, how the license work is, think of the DHC people, for the technical people on the call. You have a pool of licenses which is issued out to clients as they use them, as they're connected through your portal. But as they drop off, those licenses come back to your pool. So it's only concurrent users, and that can be then shared across multiple partners or clients that you have, which is in turn issued out to the end client as they log on. But as they log off, that license comes back and is reusable. So the branding, so this is for you, the MSP, you're able to brand your account. So you can put your logo. Now your logo is this one at the top. You can then change your color scheme, so the color on the left and the actual scheme of the buttons in there. And you can base it off the theme, black or white. You can change it. Now the theme we'll set up a little bit later on, but this is where you actually have your layout of your account, the information for you. So let's start off and build a quick portal, have a quick tour and have a look in there. So as I mentioned, step one, authentication. Now in here you can see I've got many authentication types. So all you need to do is come over, click new, and these are the authentication types that we have at present. Click and go, anonymous. Facebook login needs no explanation, but in there you're able to collect the information for Facebook. Payment plan. Now this is a good one if you want to charge for your Wi-Fi. So we currently support AdVam and PayPal, so we can link in with those. At this point you're able to then start charging your clients as they come online. User ID, if you'd like to create them a user ID code that you're going to issue out as they come on. Passphrase. For the travellers, if you ever go to a Wi-Fi lounge or an airport lounge in an airport, you'll see the Wi-Fi password sitting on the desk as you walk in. That's what the passphrase is. Email is for self-registration. So here users are able to enter their email address, they'll receive an email with a code, they'll have a certain amount of time, a 10-minute window to get that code, because let's be honest, phones do not work everywhere, so you will need to receive the email. So you'll get a 10-minute window, log on, get your email. If you do not retrieve that email and verify that email, you will be sent back to the portal after a 10-minute window. But here you're able to have self-registration. Access code, if you want to issue out codes for people as they connect to the Wi-Fi. So you can run this as an access code for a venue or a festival that you can hand out access codes. So let's click on one of these. Now I have one here, Casa Walker Payment Gateway. So this is a payment gateway that I've created. So the first screen, the details, is where you put your information, just text fields that you want to fill in. Settings is the actual PayPal method or the actual payment method. So what method do you have, PayPal or AdVam? Now once you select that, you can actually input your PayPal user ID, your PayPal API. I'm not going to click in there because you'll all be able to use my payment plan. But you can put your payment information in. Then you can have your instructions on what the user needs to do as they log on and select the payment plans. Actions is where you're going to send them. So once they log on, where are they going to go once they've actually authenticated? So you can redirect them from the authentication method. So you can send them off, maybe you've got an app that you want them to download, or you want them to go and pull something else down from a particular website so that you can divert them here. Here's the important part, the plans. Now as you can see, I've got some plans in here. Very easy to create them. So you can have a default limit, one that you set, and then you can set the defaults as they come in. If you've been to a holiday that has tiered levels, you get the default free access, the very low access that you get in there. So you can set this up 256, 5 hours, 512. So you'll get the download limit, which is the quota. Now we can do that with the VSZ. Once they reach that download limit, we can remove them. So you can actually kick them off of the network, and then they have to then come in and use a different login method or another payment. A time limit, same, you can remove them after that time has run out. And a speed limit is the actual speed they're going to get on the Wi-Fi network. So if we click into the advanced settings, we then get the refresh limit. When would you like these to refresh? So if you set it for a time limit of 5 hours, you can refresh it every day, or at the end of the day, every 24 hours. So once that time limit hits, that will refresh and they'll go back, the counters will go back to 0, so they're able to start. So that's your default limits. Then you have your plans. So we're going to create a new plan here and just call it Test 1 Plan. Can't spell. Test 1 Plan. Price, how much would you like to pay? So let's say 5. Now you notice there's no currency symbol in there because that's actually under the PayPal option. So when you choose the payment method, you can select your currency. So we'll say I've currently set this up for pounds and I'm going to pick a colour. Let's pick pink because I haven't got that yet. Or you don't have to use the colour mode as it says there. So that's the payment plan created, nice and easy. Test 1 plan was the one. At the moment it's using the default limits, which is what we just set in there. Actually, I don't want the default limits, I want to change them. So the time, you're able to set a continuous time or a split time. This is quite useful for some places that I don't want you to have a split time, a coffee shop maybe. So I want you in for an hour, but then I want to get rid of you after that hour because I want more customers in. I don't want you staying there soaking up the Wi-Fi. So you can set split time or continuous. So whatever the time limit is, it will be from the moment you log on for 4 hours. So I can put it to 4 hours. If I put a split time, that'll be from when you log on. But when you log off, I'm going to stop counting and wait for you to log back on again, and then I'm going to carry on counting. For your data limit, you can set your data limit up for megabytes or gigabytes. 0 unlimited. Speed limit again, you can set your speed limits, and then there's your refresh. So if we just leave that at 4 hours, I'll save that. You'll now see that change in here. So the test 1 plan is now 4 hours. The description was just test. So that's how easy it is to set a payment plan. So I'm going to save that. That's now in the authentication methods in Casa Walker. So I've got 5 different levels of payments in there. And it's the same for all of the other methods. So if we just click on the Facebook login, so in here, excuse me, you have the limits and settings. So now you can limit the Facebook as well. And then you can put the text and the information in there. Actions are where you're going to send the device once it's actually logged on and authenticated. The data tab is so that you can see who's logged on. So once people are logging on, it's for the reporting. So in here you can come and look at each separate authentication method and see how many people have logged in. So nice and easy authentication. Then we want to build a portal. So now we go to the portal designs. What portal do we want? As you can see, there's a few here. So we have 2 types, a multi-page and a single page. Very easy, click on new. Give it a test page name. Tags are so that you can search on the tags or you can easily see the tags. Oh, sorry. Let's save that. So we'll save that. It then goes into the portal design. Now again, you have text, input text. Then we'll go to branding. So now you can actually brand the web page. So you can upload a logo. You can add your logo from an existing one or you can put a new one in. And we give you the details of what you should be using for the logos. So you can select your logo, give it a name and upload. The background, you can upload a background. You can change the colour, so new or existing. You can put the background colour in. And the same with the footer. So I'm going to show you one that's been created, but just take you through the sections. The theme, if you remember on the account, we were setting the theme. So it will use the theme on your account from here. So you can set a colour scheme up, your headings. You can even have rounded corners of the boxes for the text on the actual splash page if you wish. Then the content. So for a single page, we come in and we'll edit that page. Now we're able to add 4 different types. So in here you can have a text area, a banner, a list of external links and trading hours. So I'll show you one that's pre-built. A banner is an image that you can upload and it gives you the size, the recommendation, the text, you're able to change the text. Links will give you a list so that you can actually add external links for when they're in the walled garden area. So if we go back a page, so that's the main page. For a single page, if you'd like a multiple page, you can click on add and you can add another page. So in here, we'll just call it page 2. So when we add a page, and now another page appears, and again you go into that page and you're able to add those 4 types again. So you can hit banner, text, links and trading hours. So you can see it's very easy to build a multiple page or a single page. You can rename the pages if you wish, but you might only want a link, so you can add an external link. So here you can put the label, and you can link it off to Google if you wish, or wherever you'd like. But then you get this option. Now this is for the walled garden, because you want to make it always available, only available before login, so in the walled garden, or available after the login. So they have to authenticate and then they can access it. So different choices there for your links. Now importantly, as you add the links in here, you will need to add them to the walled garden within the VSZ, but you'll see the list of the details that you need. So that's the portal. So you create the portal, you save it. And this is the one we're going to look at, which is the West City example. This is just a demo one that was created. So when you're looking at your portals, you can preview it and see what it is. So let's have a look at this one. If we click on preview, so there it is. There's a single page, there's a banner, there's a text. Banner, text, keep scrolling down, banner and text, banner, and then you've got opening hours. So again, you've now got opening hours and your external links. So now you can browse off to these websites. Then we've got the get online. That's the authentication methods that you chose, but at the moment we haven't assigned them to this. So we've created our portal. So that's what the user will see, and it will render for mobile or laptops. Now we need to look at the campaigns, but we want to put the adverts. So here we can go to our media section, and you'll see the backgrounds, banners and logos from what we've just created, and into the campaign images. We need to upload 2. So one for a mobile device, one for a laptop. So as we click on the new to upload, say what you want to call it, and then choose what it's going to be. Now if you watch the blue text, as I go from laptops to mobile, you'll notice it changes. So you're getting the recommendations of the sizes you should do. So upload 2, so we have 2 in here. So if we just pick on this one and preview it, so you'll see here, this is the laptop version. So that's the laptop advert. This appears to the client as they connect to your Wi-Fi before they see the splash page. And if they connect on with a mobile device, we can preview and you can see it's changed the orientation. So you've also got lots of different, you can just upload the images you want. So a nice one in there you can load up, and we'll just pick on that one, candy bars. So upload your images. We will be having video on Connect coming soon, so it's in the plan to release fairly shortly. So you're able to push images at present, and then you've also then got the surveys, as I mentioned. So if we go to the surveys, here you're able to do data collection. So as you can see, we've got some surveys in here. Very easy to work with. Put it in, survey 1, and we'll save that. This then creates the survey. Again, your text, then we go to the content. You can put a banner in your terms document in. You might be running a competition that you want to actually put a terms in. You can only take once, and things like that. The content is then the questions or a text content, so you can just give information there, or you can add questions. And as you can see, lots of different questions here. Answer is entered means the user has to input text. Answer is selected, obviously they're going to pick an answer. At the bottom here you've got personal details, which is gender, age. If we just click in there, so now you can ask those, and you can make them optional or actually collect that information. So you have to provide it or make it optional. So we'll come out, I'll just drop back into here because I wanted to show you something on the questions. Now I mentioned about opt-in, so you can have answer is ticked or unticked. Here you can say, will you opt in? Will you allow us to mark it to you, yes or no? So they can tick it. That way you're then covered. There's lots of different legislations coming in and going on regarding data privacy, so you can make sure that you're protected. Ask that question. Mailing details is where they live, and email details is obviously input your email. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at one that's created. So if we click on the Hawaiian one, we just click on this. So we can then go to the content. Now here you go. So these are the types of questions, and as you can see, there's types of questions in there. So you've got in there email, and there's the opt-in. So what we can do is we just click on this, so you can say opt-in, optional, yes or no. So that is a checkbox. So they have to tick that to say yes, I opt in. You can have it as a checkbox with yes or no. So again, they can select it. It depends on what you would like to have. So if we come down here to the survey, you can actually preview it. So if we click on the preview, there's the survey. So where did you come in? And you can see here that the little asterisk means it's not optional, it's mandatory. But you can set, as you saw, each question is optional. So that one is not optional, that one is optional, sorry, that one is not. So as we go through, you can see the information there, and there's your opt-in at the bottom. Opt-in, yes. So that's where you can collect that information, and then you can also then view it. So here you can see all the answers to the question and what each person answered. So again, on the reporting side. So you've done your media, you've done your surveys, now let's go to campaigns and put them together. So we'll create a new campaign. I do love the word test, so we'll call it test. Now we can go in and save that, and again, put your details in, and now you can have your content. So you can pick your survey. What survey would you like? I would like the Hawaiian competition one, or would I like the test one? Let's go for the Hawaiian competition. Now you get choices to say, always ask every time everybody logs in. Ask only once. Ask until they answer it, or ask once every 3 hours, or days, or weeks. So it can be optional. And then, actually, I don't mind if you don't even answer the survey. So now you can make the entire survey optional. So you can decide on that. Then on the media, so you can only have one survey for a campaign, but in the media, so we can have new media, put it in there, and then we can upload it at this point, so you can upload the file. So the same as what we just did, or you can come in and say, well, I've actually already uploaded it, so I'm going to use existing. So it's going to be for a laptop, so what one was it going to be? The Hawaiian. And then you'll see the image there, and it'll load in. And then if I come in and say, right, I actually want a mobile one. So now I'm going to, I need to pick mobile first. So mobile, then it changes the list. So now we'll pick the candy bars. Now you can have multiple images. So if I pick another one for laptops, just call it the lunchtime promotion, and put that in. You can have as many images as you like per campaign, but only one survey. Now the reason being for the images is, as user 1 logs in, they will get the first image. As user 2 logs in, they will get the second image, as long as they're laptops. As user 3 logs in, they'll get the first image. So it works in a round robin. So you can start advertising lots of different things. So you can now sell advertising space, allow people to advertise products or new things coming on. So that's how you create the campaign. Very easy, building that in. So let's just pick on this one because that was creating it. That's the content. Now you can schedule them. So as I said, one survey per campaign, as many adverts as you like, but you can have as many campaigns as you want now running. So now you can say this campaign is going to run from January to December. You can choose the year, you can choose the day, you can even choose the time. So this could run from 9 till 11 in the morning. AM, PM, nice and easy. And I only want it Monday to Friday. Perhaps it's going to be a lunchtime menu for the next day. So you can create one for every day of the week and you can run them and schedule them in. Again, actions where you're going to redirect them once they've logged in, and data, view who's actually logged in and using the survey. That's CSV that you can look at. So the campaigns, you can create them. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to discard that because in here you'll see that I've got 3 that are active, and the reason they're showing active is because of the date. They're in date. These ones are not active. They've expired, so the date's run out, and these ones are inactive because they have not been assigned to any portal, so they're not actually running yet. So you can see the green ones here. If I scroll over, you'll see that they've got the days of the week. So we've got a weekend and a week and an all week. If you have multiple campaigns running at the same time, it will take the image from the first campaign, then it will take the image from the second campaign, the image from the third campaign. Then it'll go back to the second image on the first campaign. So again, round robin on campaigns and round robin on the media adverts. So you can really start to advertise a lot here. So that's your campaign set. So we've picked the authentication method, we've picked the portal, we've picked the campaign. In terms of use, nice and easy. There's a sample one in there you can use, or you can add your own. Very easy. Now you need to link everything together. So for the MSP access, we have the devices. Here you can add your devices. So I'll click on the new here, and as you can see, we've got integration with quite a few of the vendors. More are coming and more are being added. But if there's one there that is not listed that you have that you would like to use, we use a MikroTik device. We do not provide the hardware. They're very cost effective, the MikroTik devices. But they are great gateway products and they give you very good control. With the VSZ, we integrate direct in. So we'll pick the VSZ. Now in my list you have a VSZ. So as we look here, again the details of the device. just text, and then we go to the hardware settings. So all we need is the northbound IP, which is an internet routable IP, so that our data center can communicate with the password. COA port, northbound port are configured from within the actual VSZ itself, and the AAA server is fixed because that's our AAA server, and the secret will be created once you actually put this information and save. Then we go to the hotspot settings. So within your VSZ, as you heard from Luke, you're going to get the information about the WLANs. You can set up your APs and your networks. So with the network, you'll see the networks appearing here as soon as we integrate and we start pulling that information in for the APs. So in here, you'll get the networks. So we can click into this network and then we can create one. So we can create one for that VSZ, and then you'll see the APs appear with the SSIDs. And you can start assigning them. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do that on a Ruckus AP for you. So this is for the VSZ. Brilliant. Now let's add an AP in. The reason we're going to, I'll start again. The reason we're going to add an AP in is because you're an MSP. So now you want to assign these APs to client 1. These two are client 1 and this one's client 2. You don't want them having access to your VSZ. So we'll add an AP in. Now Ruckus AP, when you add it, has to be controlled or managed via a VSZ, not a zone director. So as we select this, details about the text fields you would like to put, and then the hardware settings. And you can see here, managed by VSZ. So we've only got one VSZ configured, so it's that VSZ, then we give it the MAC address. I'm going to make this up, as I'm sure you can tell, in there. So we'll save that information, that's added. Then we get the two tabs, we get the guest network and a private network. So if we look at the guest network, what I'm going to do is the SSID will be pulled in from the MAC address, which is on the VSZ. So we're now going to pick the authentication methods. So you can now see why I was going through the 4 steps. Authentication methods, the content, which is your portal and terms, and your campaigns. So this is where you pull it all together. So we're going to change and say, right, what method did I want? I want to go email verification, and I want a payment gateway. So I'll select those. And there they are added in. Then my content, I'm going to add my terms of use. So user must scroll through or just see the link you agree. So you can decide at that point, or you can pick your own if you've got it in there. Then I'm going to add the portal. So the portal design, as you saw, lots of the portals that I had in there, but I'm just going to pick the West City example as it's nice and colourful. It's a demo one. So then as we scroll down, we've now got the default campaign and scheduled campaigns. As I mentioned to you, you can have as many campaigns as you want. The default campaign will always be running. This is not timed, it's 24/7. So this is the first one to be displayed. Then as we go into the scheduled ones, you might have, as I mentioned, the lunchtime. So if we put these in here, you can have as many as you like, you can pick them. I'm just going to pick those 3. So now you've got your default campaign, which is always running, and now your scheduled ones. So as we scroll over here, you can see the dates these are going to run. So the start date, the end date. And as I mentioned, if they overlap, it's round robin. Then you've got the times. Then you've got the days of the week. So that one runs Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all week. So only 2 will ever overlap. So that's your campaign. So you can start building up your campaigns to run through the year, the 6-month period, whatever you would like. That's then set up. So I'm going to save that. So I'm now, oh, I didn't actually name that. Let's just give this Alan test. So I'm going to save that. Then if we go to devices, we'll now see we have the Ruckus APs and Alan tests. You can see some other Ruckus APs in here. And you can see it's got one hotspot. So you've now built that. And that's how quick it was. So if we have a look at this hotspot, you can see in here the information regarding what you've just put together. So then we've got the building 1, building 2, and these are assigned to the clients. And I'll show you where we do that on the users. So again, we'll just pick on building 1. So this one is out, it's active because it's on a network. So let's preview it. Now you're able to preview the user journey. So now you can see what we're actually going to see. So this is an advert. This could be a coupon, movie nights, continue, lovely. So we'll continue on with that. Then we get the demo, the actual portal, the splash page. So this is a demo portal. I want to get online. Then you get the survey. So now you can start collecting that information. So join our news group, could be opt-in, will you allow us to market to you, and so on. So once they submit that, so we can just put in this information. So they'll submit that, they fill it in, I agree to the terms. So that tick to say scroll through it or not, it just produces this if you don't tick it. I agree, let me on. So that's now going to try and log on. But I'm on the Wi-Fi, I'm on a LAN, not on the Wi-Fi. So that's the user journey. The media, the splash page. I believe I have a prettier splash page on this one. No, it's not on that one. Maybe this one. Here we go. So again, the journey, 5 seconds, it's in there. There's your advert. So that was a different advert because it's on a different campaign. Continue. Then you get the West City sample. You can scroll down. That was one that we had a look at. Click to get online. And again, it's the survey. So you fill in the survey and then you get the authentication methods. We're not going to get the authentication methods up because I'm not on the Wi-Fi. So that's how easy it is to build and put together. So you've now designed that, you've done that for 1 or 2 portals, 4 different clients, so however many clients you have. Then we come down to users. You now need to create users. So you can see I've got sysadmins and I've got custom. So I'm going to pick on this one. So this one is just a user I've created. So in here is the information I have. In fact, if I create one, you can see how easy that is. So the account, email, so whatever it may be, any at acme.com. I'm sure you've all used that sort of name when you do not want to put your email and signing in. Acme.com. The full name, you can give it the information about that account. If I now save that, that's actually going to email any at acme.com. So you can change the email or you can change the password. So this is what I was doing on this one. As you can see there, that's now in there. So if we go to the settings page, now you can have the user type. So we've got a couple of different user types in here. We have system admin, which is what I am now. So it's full control of everything. So for that account. You can have a network administrator, which is the one just below, which I'll show you, and this is a custom user. So perhaps you want to now do roles for the type of people you have. As Luke had mentioned, different roles, different levels. So you may have marketing, you want to give them access to reports, you want to give them access to change the portals or the campaigns. This is where you can now do it. So you can pick each section, which is each of these tabs, and say they can be read-only, they can be read-write, they can be full access. And if it's read-only on the authentication methods, now you can select the different types of authentication methods. And that's every method you've created. So you might only want them to be able to see the types and not change it. Device manager will be the hardware, so you can pick on the hardware and assign that out. So here is a custom user and it's got 2 devices. So this is a client with 2 devices. What devices do they have? You can look in here. So you've got building 1 AP and building 3 AP, so client 1. So this client, when they log in, will only see 2 devices. And we can see that if I can select on the bottom here. So this is that user. If I log in, as it's logging in, it'll pop up. You can now see it's a different color, different logo, and it's slightly different on the left here for, there's no users tab. But if I go to devices, I've only got 2 devices in there, the building 1, the building 3. So now you've given that control over to that user. They can now come in and have a look at their authentication methods and everything we just looked at on here. So that's what you can change on there, but then you can brand it. And as you saw, it was branded to a different client. So it's not going to be the MSP, it's going to be their logo, their color scheme. So now you're giving the control. They don't know it's you. You can brand it to them. So that's the beauty of the users. So now you can delegate control and make it look like those. And again, the last section in here is just the reporting. So in here you can pull in the reporting, you can put in the date range or whatever you would like. Then you generate. On the hotspots, you can say all or any hotspots. So I've got all my hotspots in there. So you can come in and say, right, I want to look at all the hotspots or just one. So you might have one in building, one in the reception, one in the bar area. So now you can, again, very similar to the dashboard, you get your summary, you get your users. As we scroll through, you'll get the information about the sessions, and you can see here the CSV that you can pull down and look at more detailed info. So sessions, users, genders. I haven't got anything in there because I'm not logging in with Facebook, but that will give you the demographics from Facebook, the social. By the authentication method, what they use, so click and go. Then as we come down, it's the SSID, so it's the VSZ, click and go. Again, sessions by day, by time, by site. By site as in the device and the week. So you can now work out when they're busy, you can show them the people coming in. As you can see, I'm just scrolling down as we go. You need to get the user platforms. If you've got the redirects set on the actions for the authentication methods, but more importantly, now you've got all of your campaigns. So if you want to see how effective a campaign is, you can see how many times they were viewed and by what different device was viewing them, and you get the totals at the bottom. So you'll get the full details for your reporting of all your sessions, and as the sub-user logs in, they'll only be able to see information for their hotspots. So the sub-user I created will only get 2 devices when they look at the hotspots. When I look, because I'm the MSP, I get to see everything. So you as an MSP get the top view, the partner or the client, your client, will get their view, and they can even issue out access to the end user. They might have to ask you to do it unless you give them control as a sysadmin. So that's the difference in here. And let's just have a quick look. Let's change this one to network admin, and you can see how easy it is. It changes. So network admin, network administrator, save. Then you can say, okay, well, what devices should that network administrator have? So he's going to have Ruckus AP2, client 2, save. He now gets all of these controls for Ruckus AP2. So when he logs in, he'll be able to add users for that account, but they won't be able to see anything else. So the full MSP access and the tiered access, if you'd like to call it that, is in there. And when they log in, the dashboard will show them information for their device only. That's a quick overview, which if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to go further into each of these and go into the settings and show you how to do it. But it's just wanted to give you a quick flavour of how Encapto can be easily put together to build a Wi-Fi engagement network for your clients. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this webinar this morning. I hope you found it useful and interesting. Here's our contact details. If you've got any questions, please feel free to email the relevant person with the contact details here, and we will get back to you with answers to all your questions. Again, thanks very much for your time this morning. Have a great day. Bye.